Hey, Reluctant Preppers, you could have been watching this video the moment it came out
by going to HealingYourself.Life and subscribing to our new sister channel, Healing Yourself. See you there. HealingYourself.Life provides information for awareness, educational, and support purposes only and does not diagnose or prescribe treatment for any medical condition. Viewers are encouraged to do their own due diligence and consult with their own medical caregivers before making personal treatment decisions. Welcome back to HealingYourself.Life. I'm your host, Dunagun Kaiser.
And I'm your co-host, Melody Kaiser.
We're here to talk today about Candida, yeast infection, also known as Candida albicans or Candida, and how we got it, and how it affected and impacted our lives, and how we've been treating it, and the progress and the struggles how we've had to go through along the way of dealing with and living with Candida. So for those of you who have, you have our most sincere, heartfelt compassion. And please add your comments below and make sure you subscribe. And we'll help each other point out either different approaches, treatments, books, references, doctors. If you know somebody who's a real Candida expert, let us know about them. We'll see if we can get them on the show and ask questions. So if you've got questions you want us to ask them, add those down below as well.
That's a great suggestion.
We kicked this off because we were talking about our journey through
Lyme.
Treating Lyme disease with treating chronic Lyme disease with long-term antibiotic therapy, how that tended to wipe out our natural intestinal flora of healthy bacteria, causing an overgrowth of the Candida yeast that are in everybody's body, but that grew out of control, and how we started to think, maybe we've got that going too. What were some of the symptoms that we experienced?
Yeah, I had gas and bloating, and then we both noticed our tongue was furry, and you had a incurable toenail fungus. I mean, it wasn't getting better no matter what.
I went to the podiatrist, and they gave me
like a year-long
what do you call that stuff?
Prescription. I don't know.
See, we can't remember words anymore. But it's that stuff you brush on your toenails, and it makes the fungus go away. And part of it would go away, but this one toe just would never get better, no matter how.
And that is one
diligently
clue. That is a clue that if you have like incurable toenail fungus, you probably have Candida.
And furry tongue that you can't cure.
You have Candida.
And brain fog got worse.
And the brain fog got worse again. So yes, because Lyme disease also causes brain fog. So we were on a double dose of brain fog and memory loss because the Candida and fatigue, very tired. So it was very, very tough. And then there was one more thing.
Symptom. Well, you're thinking of that one. I was going to mention how we. There's a simple
I know. We did the spit test. That's what I was going to talk about. Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, so we did an at-home. I don't know. I found it on the internet, I guess, and it's a spit test. And you spit into this right away in the morning before you drink, before you do anything. You spit into a glass of water, and if you get these dangly things coming down, kind of like like jellyfish, they've got the tentacles. Well, if you have tentacles, then you probably have Candida. And both of us, I had it more than you did.
But both markedly.
Both of us had,
And based on, we talked to our doctor who had been treating us long-term on
the antibiotics
for Lyme,
he kind of
and said, hey, we're having the brain fog more, we're having gas and bloating, digestive troubles, we're having incurable tongue furry tongue and the toenail fungus, and now we got the saliva test that's seeming to indicate, would it be prudent for us to be treated for Candida? He said, sure. Started us on oral nystatin. And again, like as with Lyme treatment, you have to tiptoe your way into it, because if you just go plunging full strength in, it can knock you flat on your back from the reaction, just the
Herxheimer reaction again, which we explained in the Lyme, but we can explain here that the Herxheimer reaction,
named after Dr. Herxheimer,
is the die-off from the Candida that's dying off.
Or the Lyme.
Or the Lyme that's dying off. There's only, again, two diseases that cause Herxheimer reaction, and that's Lyme and Candida.
I didn't know that.
Yes, there's only two. Yeah, and anytime you are dealing with anything else, there's no such a thing. But we were unfortunate enough to catch the two diseases that actually have Herxheimer
So the
reactions.
idea is the more effective that the treatment is,
it's going to make you feel worse.
The worse you're going to feel because
in the beginning,
this big battle pollution is going on. So you've got to, you can't overdo that
Right.
or you'll just it's just too hard to make it through.
Right.
So you back up a little bit and then go slower steps.
Right. Yeah.
Something you said made me remember. Oh yeah, in the treating Candida, we were finding that you're also, now this is an example where you can change your diet
Yes.
to
Right.
help,
Yeah. To help.
not feed the beast, not pour gasoline on the fire.
But I will say there's some controversy in that.
Okay.
Some people argue that you can go on the diet and it will do you no good. Some people say, yes, the diet works. We did go on the diet and have been on the diet. We're in the 3rd phase now, but the 1st phase is extremely brutal because you're not allowed a heck of a lot of food of different types. Anyway, I was eating a lot of selections.
It's basically lean meats and
vegetables.
Veggies, yeah.
And again, that was the confusing part too, because before we went and got help from a Candida doctor, I was just looking up, and depending on what you looked up on the internet, you could literally not literally, but not be able to eat hardly anything. You know, some would say this fruit was okay, some would say this fruit is not okay. The same fruit. And it'd be like, well, what the heck? Why isn't there any real consensus on what food is okay to eat in the Candida diet and what food isn't? So we just went to this doctor, and he's been helping us with we do the nystatin and the diflucan, which is another medication. 2
antifungal medications.
Yeah, we were on those for quite a while.
As well as one called SF722, which is morning and night.
That's not a medication, though.
It's a supplement. That's supposed to, but you just reminded me that there's a number of other things you can take. They aren't exactly medicine. Most of them you can just buy, but they are actually very effective at combating, in some cases, both Lyme and Candida, sometimes Candida. I'm thinking about diatomaceous earth.
Yes, the
diatomaceous
extract. Yes, grapefruit.
Grapefruit seed extract.
Yeah.
I'll think of it in a minute.
Okay.
But so, for example, diatomaceous earth sounds like, it's dirt. Yeah. Well, actually,
you've got to get the food grade diatomaceous earth.
Right.
We need to be very specific about that. Again, you need to always follow your own
back in
heart.
Prehistory, in the oceans, primordial oceans, there were these little diatoms. I guess there are in oceans today too, but then they settled out to the bottom of and on the bottom of the sea they'd stack up, and you end up with this. It's like a fine chalky powder, but under a microscope it looks like little razor blades and twisty, spirally, sharp things and everything. But it's on such a microscopic scale that it really does just look and feel like flour. Like white powder.
Yeah, right.
But if you take a teaspoon of that and stir it into some juice or water or something, and drink that in the morning and drink that in the evening, food grade diatomaceous earth, then to you it's like scrubbing bubbles. It just goes through. It doesn't hurt you at all. But if you are a microscopic little thing in there, like the Candida yeast, it's like these shredding razor blades coming in and tearing them apart and exposing them to
both the Lyme and the Candida that's in your intestine. It won't do any good for the Lyme that's in your brain. But it does do for
caprylic acid. That's the other thing I was trying to
yeah, caprylic acid, so which is if you eat coconut oil, you're getting the caprylic acid. In fact, there's another thing called oil pulling, and I've been doing that now.
To swish
to the last
in your
2
mouth
days only.
with coconut oil.
Yeah, for 10 to 20 minutes.
And then spit it out.
And then you spit it out. You mustn't swallow.
But it helps
pull the
Candida that's in your
Candida's
tongue.
on your tongue and in your mouth. But you shouldn't gargle with it either, I guess. I don't know why, but that was one of the suggestions. So we've been doing, again, more things and things that we take. We take extra probiotics now as well. And you don't want to just we found out buying a line product, we thought, it's supposed to be good.
Name brand
probiotic. It had sugar in it, and it's like we have to avoid sugar.
Watch out, guys.
We have to avoid sugar. So,
name brand probiotics, name brand yogurts and stuff like that. You look at them, and they have like 1 or 2 species of probiotics instead of 500 that you've got in you naturally.
Right.
And they have often sugar or dairy, cow's milk or whatever, and it's like, okay, that's not necessarily helping you to achieve the goals you're after. But there are some much higher quality probiotics that have multiple strains, don't have sugar. So sometimes that's the approach.
Yeah.
I was going to reinforce something you said earlier about these, where it feels like you can't eat anything.
Yeah.
Because so if you've got the Candida diet officially that you look up, and it has this list. This is do and don't.
Right.
And then you have this other person that wrote one, and they have their do and don't list. You think, well, I better not eat anything on anybody's don't list.
Right.
But the problem is there is some overlap, but they don't overlap perfectly.
No.
And it ends up being feeling like it's almost everything you can't eat.
Right.
And that was the one time at the store where you said,
yeah,
I could, if I was going to bring something home that was going to be healthy for you, as long as it's not food.
As long as it's not food, yeah. At least I had some sense of humor.
Yeah. Well, I think it was like, if you loved me, you'd...
Well, finally then, you had to go on the Candida diet and realized how difficult it was.
My
I think there wasn't a lot, unfortunately. Not a lot of empathy until he had to go on the diet himself and realize this is really tougher because you're having to just make things yourself. You're not having, you can't, it's hard to do...
Yeah, 99% of the stuff at the store. It takes so much more
time to make yourself a meal.
If you really look at the ingredient list on the stuff that's
I can have nothing convenient. You can't have anything convenient.
Yeah, and also by eliminating the carbs.
Yeah.
How that makes you feel.
Well, you started getting the long term. Everybody needs some amount of carbs, and I was going without, and then you'd get brain fog again because you've been without, and you feel very much deprived with no. You feel hungry all the time. I felt hungry. Didn't matter how much I could eat. Not satisfied. I was losing weight, and I never felt full. I never felt full, even though I felt like I'm eating more than ever. I never felt full because there were no carbs. It's a
terrible feeling to know you're eating. Healthy proteins and healthy
vegetables,
and you can feel yourself wasting away.
Yeah.
And the energy was just sapping. When you already don't have energy.
That's right.
And then you have no carbs.
Yeah.
It's like it's not sticking.
Right.
I'm eating, but it's not sticking to me.
Right. Yeah. So that was difficult too.
And it was our daughter who was a nutrition expert who told us. She said it's not just too many carbs that can give you brain fog. She said if you don't have enough.
If you don't have enough,
your brain can't function properly either. You gotta have some.
Right. Yeah. So that was difficult.
And then you started a juice regimen. Not only juicing, but you started a citrus juice to try to switch over to prior to meals to help with digestion.
Yes. I take apple cider vinegar with lemon and lime and water, some aloe vera juice in there as well, and that's supposed to be very helpful. It prevents actually. People go, what? Vinegar for heartburn? But it does help prevent heartburn. I think it's very good. And I've also read where apple cider vinegar is good if you have Candida. It also helps with the Candida. So that's very good. And then like I say, there's several products we take that are natural. We mentioned the diatomaceous earth again. It has to be food grade. And then the grapefruit seed extract is very good. Oregano oil. You just don't want to take the oregano or garlic, if it's fresh, raw garlic, for Candida, near your probiotics. So you need to separate them by 8 hours is the suggestion, because the oregano oil and the garlic can kill off
they're that powerful.
Yeah, they're that powerful. They can kill off the good bacteria as well as the bad. And then there's another product we take in the morning before breakfast. We take our probiotics.
Saccharomyces boulardii.
That's it, the Saccharomyces boulardii. We take that too because that's supposed to build up the good. Again, more. There's so many probiotics that your body needs that, again, like an Align or a Culturelle isn't. They're going to give you some good.
One species or two, yeah.
But not everything you need. So there's several things that we do for the Lyme the Candida, that's all natural and good for us.
Back on the topic of how we felt deprived, exhausted, cranky, and snappish. On the Candida diet, we were just at each other a lot.
Yes. The Candida diet in the beginning.
Just arguing all the time.
Right. Yeah.
And it got to be where our son, who still lives at home, was like, guys, this isn't like you. You're just fighting all the time. Even a neighbor expressed concern about, are you guys okay? Are you really okay?
Yeah.
Said,
and it's funny because
I just had this dream that you guys were fighting all the time. Yeah, we have been.
It was funny because it was intuitive. She's down. I mean, we don't argue loudly, but so she didn't hear us arguing.
But she sensed something.
She sensed something. She said, it just doesn't seem off. And she said, we're arguing more. We don't feel, I think there wasn't that aspect of, we're friends. We love each other. We care for each other. And we knew all that. We knew we love each other. We care for each other. But where's the friendship in all of this,
And another hidden psychological relationship thing I think that emerged from our carb deficit was there's this sense, you mentioned that you're not satisfied, right? From eating. Yes. So it's the opposite of comfort. You're uncomfortable all the time. Mm-hmm. But there was a sense of, I would say low-grade panic or low-grade anxiety. We were like ready, we're hair trigger. Anything that would irritate us or annoy us, we're like, boom, this is a big problem, and this is a big flash. And you'd say I was being really aggressive back, or fighting, that kind of thing, arguing, argumentative.
And for me, it was anxiousness and anxiety. Any little thing could just throw me through the roof. I'd be like, how can you do this? So that was very frustrating. And now, thankfully, we've been able to add in some carbs so that we're able to eat and
calm down a little bit.
And the first phase of the diet that our Candida literate doctor gave us, actually, this particular diet he had us on, I was depriving myself of all fruit. I wouldn't eat any fruit except for lemon and lime. And in the beginning, I could have had watermelon and cantaloupe and honeydew, and I was like, and muskmelon. I was like, oh man, some of my favorite fruits, and I had already gone through all summer with not having the fruits that I love.
And then you discovered the perfect breakfast food.
Oh gosh, that's been kind of fun. I use canned pumpkin. You could use fresh or frozen. It's just easier. Anyway, there's a recipe, and you can look it up online. I'm sure it's there for people who need to be gluten-free. It's based on pumpkin and almond butter. If you look up pumpkin almond butter pancakes, it's great. And he's having to discipline our dogs. They're whining. We have one who's quite needy. Anyway, and he's been deprived. So anyway, and you use eggs as the bind. And we discovered, I was trying to make pancakes, and it was good and it worked, but the waffle machine really works the best, and it's been a fabulous, and just a waffle grill. You grow to like it, and it's good.
The three main ingredients, right, are the
eggs,
pumpkin flesh, eggs, and then is it coconut flour?
You can use coconut flour, but almond. You don't have to use any flour. You can use almond butter if you're not allergic to almonds. Pumpkin and eggs, and then I think it's not cornstarch, it's baking powder. Yep. You have to have some baking powder.
And it gave you something that felt like bread.
Yeah, I was missing bread so bad. I thought I've got to be able to make something that isn't bread, but that I can feel like I could chew.
But you can't cover them with syrup, you guys.
No, you
cannot
can't.
pour Mrs. Butterworth all over these things.
No, you can't.
You can put butter.
Syrup.
You can put butter.
Yeah, you can, or coconut oil if you like coconut oil, and you could put more almond butter on there. So that's a good thing. And we've learned from Dr. Rawls, who's a Lyme specialist, but I think this is good with Candida too. We've got to really change it up so you're not eating the same thing, because Candida can help. I don't like the word help. It can make it so that you become allergic to certain foods if you're on them too long, because it takes away from the. You might have a leaky gut, so it's getting into your body.
So we've been talking quite a bit about how Candida overgrowth from the result of long-term antibiotic treatment affected us, and some of the deprivation that we felt going through the various carb-reduced diets.
Yes.
And I was going to mention your discovery that you talked about your pumpkin waffles. Mm-hmm. We did find when we were in stage 3 of the Candida diet, which gets more permissive as you go, that you could use brown rice syrup.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty tasty.
As a sweet thing. Or you found online, can't remember the brand name of these jars. It's like jelly, but it's naturally there's no sugar added, and there's just fruit juice. And apple juice is the only sweetener in there. Yeah. And it's so tough to find. We even can't find it at specialty grocery stores.
No. Yeah.
But I order it. Yeah. And you can put some of that on there instead of syrup, because you
it's
really
It's an Italian company. I can't remember the name of it.
Fior di frutta. Yeah.
There you go.
We'll put it in the.
And then I think there's a book, and I would suggest, if you feel like you might have Candida, I would go again to a Candida diet specialist who can help you through the process of going on a proper diet, getting the proper medication to help you heal your body, because it takes a long time. I've been on it since July, and it's now April.
Yeah, that's 9 months.
So 9 months. Again, it gets a little more permissive as you go down. But it's a long process, and even now I don't feel like my tongue is back to normal yet. So that's why I started the oil pulling with the coconut oil. And then I was just going to add, we will try to put up one of the books that our doctor recommends on Candida, but there are others, and there might be...
We'll have the descriptions underneath the video.
Right.
Make sure you subscribe
Yes.
Make sure you add notes here. If you know of a good book,
yeah, that'd be great.
or
Yeah,
a
make
good,
suggestions. That'd be
nutritional
awesome.
supplement,
Yeah.
or a natural way of treating or healing from Candida, or part of your own story, feel free to share that below. We really appreciate you being
Yes.
here on
Thank you.
HealingYourself.Life.
Thank you. See you next time.